Right. Now we move to a very different beast, cloud computing, right? We will discuss cloud computing next week. Cloud computing is one of the strongest and most powerful disrupting technologies in the world right now. It's huge. I mean, Amazon was the first big company to move into cloud computing, and then we have Microsoft and now Google, among others. There are many vendors of cloud computing in the market. Cloud computing is simply removing IT from your own company to someone else's care. So traditionally, before cloud computing came out, every company had its own computers, its own systems installed inside the building of the company. So every company had a room called server room or data center, and they kept big computers with all the application they need on these computers. Okay, this meant that they had to maintain these computers. They had to hire people to maintain these computers. They had to upgrade these computers when it's time to upgrade them, right? And if you're working in retail industry or the banking industry or the healthcare industry, then your experience is not in IT. Your experience is in healthcare or in retail or in banking. So it's outside the core of your mission to manage your IT systems, right? So someone brilliant came up with this cloud computing. They said, why don't we move all of this IT stuff for someone else to care about, so we don't have to focus on managing IT anymore. All we need to do is to focus on our own core business, and then these other IT people are very good in working with IT, so they can manage the servers and applications for us, and all we have to do is to access these applications, right?
I believe
I
believe that was the military who did that first. I remember, like, through them they did introduce like concept of cloud computing. They also introduced the concept of network computing, like where they took a bunch of PlayStation 2s, hooked them up together, and made like a really cheap supercomputer out of it.
So okay, so there are two parts here: networking computers and cloud computing. These are two different things. For networking computers, the internet, let's say, the military are the ones who came up with it. In the 70s, they came up with something called ARPANET. We'll talk about that again maybe on Friday or next week. And they, this was the beginning, or this was the grandparent of the current internet. But for cloud, military are very reluctant to use the cloud because of their old secrets and military secrets and stuff. They don't want to host their information outside the military. So they only started to move to the cloud very recently. There was a big contract that cloud contract that was made by the Department of Defense, and it was Microsoft, I think, but it's canceled now, right? So they will require that again. So the key point here is cloud computing is very useful because it saves a lot of money for the company, but it has its threats, its risks, mostly related to security and privacy. We'll talk about that when we talk about cloud computing in more details. But every company right now is, not every company, but most of the industries are moving towards cloud computing. So Office now is cloud-based. Microsoft Office is cloud-based. Google Docs that we use are cloud-based, of course. Canvas, the Canvas that you are using right now, this Canvas is hosted on AWS, on Amazon Web Services. So it is hosted on the cloud. We don't have it inside CSUMB. We are not, the computers or servers for Canvas are not in CSUMB. They are hosted on Amazon, and so on and so on. And the email we are using is hosted at Gmail, at Google. So cloud computing is used everywhere because it's cheap. Number one, it's cheaper than maintaining your own equipment and upgrading them every year and keeping up to date with all the updates or security updates on all of this stuff. And because you don't have to have high expertise in your company. You don't have to have top IT people, top network engineers, top to manage these systems. You just throw it at the cloud provider and they do it for you, right? Now, I have been working with cloud computing for a long time now. And when we come to cloud computing, I will next week, I'm going to share with you my cloud computing platform, not mine, AWS. I have account there. Actually, I won $25,000 worth of credit to use AWS for my research. So I'll be sharing that with you, and I will take you through how we set up cloud computing and how easy it is to create servers and take down servers on Amazon. I will show that all to you hands-on. Not hands-on, you can't do it. I will do it for you next week. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to create cloud and to use cloud computing online. Okay, I will show that to you, promise, next week. Okay.
Hey, Professor.
Yeah.
$25,000. What's that last about a week? Because that stuff's expensive. You know.
Yeah, but this is research, right? I'm not doing it for business. This is not a business, so I will be the only one using this system, maybe simulating 3 points and so on. So it's going to took me maybe a year to go through the 25,000.
Right. I hear stories. Everybody's always surprised by their bill when they first start. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not that expensive. I'm already hosting the website I told you about. I'm hosting it on AWS, and every couple of it depends on how many people are using the system, because only my students are using it. I spend maybe $40 every 2 months, which I accept. I'm good with, right? So $40 is okay every 2 months, but this is because I have few users using it. If the number of users expand to 10,000 or more, then for sure I'll pay more, but hopefully it will be worth it as well. I'm still a long way from that. Right. Okay. Right. Now, of course, the one of the most it's not recent anymore. It's existing. There is business intelligence and analytics, right? So business intelligence focuses on providing reports to the business so that they can make more efficient decisions, right? Now, this is the trend now in business. So in old times, before the analytics came up and became a big thing in business, most of the decisions were made based on experience. So you are an experienced person, you have been doing this work for ages, so you can make a decision based on your judgment or based on your wisdom. But with analytics, when analytics came out, quantitative decision making became a big thing. Quantitative means based on numbers, right? So you look at numbers, you analyze the numbers, and then you display these numbers in the form of reports to the management so they can make better decisions. Right? Okay. So these are some of the old limitations of business intelligence. So if you create, okay, so business intelligence depends on creating automated systems that will take data from your databases and analyze this data and display this data in forms of graphs, charts, recommendations, and so on. So one of the problems is that companies regarded BI applications as strategic, and they regarded them as something very top secret and something that is very exclusive. So only the top management, only the directors and top management were able to use these kind of tools, right? However, these tools can be useful as well for lower level managers and even for supervisors. So these people weren't able to see or to use these tools. But now it's becoming more democratized. And again, as we go on, I will show you some of these tools and how we use them for decision making. I will show that to you pretty soon.